We witnessed the coming together of India's two main political formations last week, which is the National Democratic Alliance, which is led by the BJP, and a new formation, which is called India, which stands for Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, which is led by the Congress and several other regional parties. And both these alliances hope to form the government in next year's Lok Sabha elections. I'm really honored today to be joined by Tuhin Sinha. Tuhin, thank you so much for taking the time out. This is the second conversation that we're having here on Swell today, and it's very kind of you to give me time and let us know what you think of the following questions. So I'm going to follow this introduction up with a couple of questions, and we're really looking forward to hearing your take on both these issues. My first question, Tuhin, is with regard to the implications of both of these alliances. Can you give us your take, and how do you see this battle really playing out between the two formations, which is NDA and India? And, the opposition alleges that they have what it takes to really embody the idea of India, and they have equal and fair representation from all of India's diverse states. Whereas the BJP believes that, the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the government's track record over the last 9 years would suffice to help the party, form majority next year in the Lok Sabha. What is your read of both of these alliances, and how does the BJP really intend on taking on the India alliance?
Well, I'm glad you asked me this question, Karan. There is a huge difference. There is a difference of heaven and earth between NDA and Indie Alliance. Indie Alliance is, I would still like to call them PDA, which is Public Display of Absurdity. But when you talk about NDA, NDA is a coming together of parties by choice who have seen the performance of the BJP-led NDA in the last 9 years, who have seen the transformation that the country has witnessed, and who rightly want to strengthen the hands of Prime Minister Modi going ahead in order to be able to execute the vision which the Prime Minister has envisaged for India 2047. On the other hand, the Indie Alliance, or the PDA, is a desperate alliance born out of the desperate necessity of each of their alliance partners to survive. Because if they don't survive, because if they don't get together, individually, survival is going to be very difficult for them. The Congress, until 1 year ago, was facing an existential crisis. They have been lucky to come back in states like Himachal Pradesh and Karnataka. As far as TMC is concerned, TMC has managed to get away with the worst sort of violence in Bengal. But that violence has defamed them to such an extent outside Bengal that while 2 years ago Mamata Banerjee had big plans of setting up a unit in every state, today she realizes that none of the states will accept TMC beyond Bengal because of the destruction which her politics has unleashed in different parts of Bengal. When it comes to the Aam Aadmi Party is the hub of hypocrisy, is the hub of corruption. In fact, I'm not sure whether Arvind Kejriwal can evade arrest till 2024 because, the way he had formed his cabinet, wherein 20 odd portfolios were distributed among two ministers and both close confidence of the chief minister, and Arvind Kejriwal personally did not keep a single portfolio. There was a scam in that itself. So it is very difficult to believe that Manish Sisodia had perpetrated or had given form to the liquor scam without the active involvement of Arvind Kejriwal. And to all those who say that Manish Sisodia has been unfairly arrested, it has been nearly 5 months now. If the courts did not find merit in the case, they would have easily released him on bail. So essentially, the Indie Alliance or the PDA is an alliance of the corrupt. Unlike the NDA, Modi-led NDA, which has a vision for the next 25 years, the Indie Alliance does not have a vision for the next 25 days. And, even if they have a vision, that is largely centered around self-aggrandizement, nothing that they can give to the country. But most importantly, like I mentioned, it's a desperate need for survival, and any party even within the PDA, which finds, which finds that it is not getting the best deal within, they're not ideologically bound. So tomorrow you should not be surprised if Sharad Pawar, decides to break out of the India alliance. In fact, even during the last meeting in Bangalore, he kept everybody guessing and came to the meeting only on the second day. The same applies to Nitish Kumar. Nitish Kumar was apparently very upset, I don't know for what, at the end of the last meeting, and he reportedly left early from that meeting. So if any of these people decide to break away suddenly, and there is a high likelihood of that anyway, is a bigger threat to which they are facing. So I think they should be more focused on putting their flock together rather than dreaming, stuff which will anyway not be fulfilled. See, most importantly, the people of this country have witnessed the transformation, unprecedented transformation in the last 9 years. Today, there were people tweeting about the share value of HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. If you followed politics closely, you would remember how in 2018, Rahul Gandhi had denigrated HAL ad nauseum. He had cast aspersions on the ability of HAL to produce defense equipments in the country.
My second question, Tuhin, is slightly unrelated to the topic that we're discussing in terms of alliances and the general election. But I really wanted to know your take on what's going on in Manipur, because Home Minister Amit Shah did mention today in the floor of the House that he's open to having a constructive deliberation with the opposition if they do cooperate. But how do we, as everyday citizens who are concerned about the safety of everyone, but particularly our women, how do we take stock of what's going on, and what do you make of the government's response?
Well, Karan, what has happened in Manipur in the last 2.5 months is extremely disturbing, extremely heart-wrenching. There are no words to describe some of the videos doing the rounds, especially of women being harmed and public monstrosity being enacted against them. Having said that, Manipur, unfortunately, has always been in the thick of ethnic conflict for many decades now. And there are some important issues which cannot be de-linked from the present conflict. One of the issues is the way the government in the state had gone after poppy cultivators, because, the drug menace is a huge problem across the northeast. This particular government in Manipur had gone after poppy cultivators in a big way. Drug seizures of a level that had never happened before took place in the last 6 years. So the last 6 years, starting 2017, after the BJP came to power in Manipur, till April 2023, were perhaps one of the most progressive and, some of the best months for Manipur. Having said that, what started off in early May this year, should have been the violence which started in early May this year, should have been curbed immediately. I think the state government should have been more proactive in curbing that violence. And again, when I talk of the violence, one needs to be cognizant of the issues which led to that violence. The Methi community in the state, which comprises almost 50% of the population, is confined to a mere 10% landmass. The hilly areas, because of the 6th schedule, they're barred from entering. They don't have rights to purchase property over there or to habitate that land. So 90% of the area is in the state is out of their reach, or 90% is out of their ownership ambit. This had been leading to some amount of dissatisfaction in the Methi community. They had been a section within the Methi community was very keen on being included in the ST, being given the ST status, so that some of the discrepancies could be addressed. Now, the High Court of Manipur had ruled in favor of the Methi community being given the ST status. The Supreme Court had to respond to that, or Supreme Court had to uh, pass its observations on that. Before that could happen, certain groups in Manipur started protesting, and in no time those protests led to unabated violence. So in a way, all of it was planned, and that is what makes people believe that the entire reservation issue for Meiteis cannot be delinked from the present Manipur government's overdrive against drug peddlers and poppy cultivators in the last 6 years. Let me say this with responsibility, that unlike some of the agenda-driven people who have liked to project it as a religious issue, it is not a religious issue, it's an ethnic issue. I do agree that the state government should have curbed the violence immediately after it broke out. In fact, the central government has done a lot. Home Minister Amit Shah has stayed there for a good 4 days. He personally visited all the places where tension was brewing, spoke to every community. In fact, had it not been for the massive deployment of central agencies, the situation could have perhaps been worse. Now, coming back to the discussion in Parliament, the BJP is absolutely open to the discussion. But, the Parliament works according to well laid out procedure. When the opposition tries to browbeat the government by insisting that the Prime Minister should speak first, a Prime Minister, whenever the Prime Minister's comments happen, they need to be preceded by a proper discussion according to the procedure, well laid out procedures in the House. So I think instead of being nonchalant, instead of being so obstinate, the opposition